If you're like me, you know MLM is an amazing opportunity to grow a real asset for yourself. But you also see that there's huge issues starting to emerge. Like, why haven't big MLMs let tactics change in over 30 years? Or why have they been cutting commissions smaller and smaller? Or even, how dumb is it that old MLM rules say you'll get in trouble when you use the internet to grow your team? These are some of the blaring questions we all face today. This podcast will show you how real MLMers like us are waging war on the old dying methods. And we aren't cheating by only bugging uninterested family and friends. Follow this podcast while I expose the shocking methods I'm using to build my 10,000 person downline and get people begging to join my team daily. Here's to the new tactics without all those old, rusty MLM shackles. My name is Steve Larson, and welcome to Secret MLM Hacks Radio. What's going on, everyone? This is Steve Larson. Welcome back to Secret MLM Hacks Radio, and I'm very excited that you are here with us today. I have a very special guest. Frankly, I'm very shocked that we were able to get someone with such incredible stature in this show. She's amazing. She's an incredible individual, and we're all very lucky to have her here. Just so you all know, Teresa Harding is an incredible individual. I'm not going to say the name of the MLM because I keep it very company neutral. So this remains kind of a pure marketing knowledge place, and you guys all know that about this show. But she has helped open 40 countries for the network marketing company she's a part of. She has a downline of over 4.5 million people, and they think it's over 5 million, but the computer servers weren't working fast enough to actually download the report, which is amazing. She is an incredible person. She has a podcast called MLM Game Changers. You guys should all go check it out as well. And very, very excited. We're very privileged to have her on here today. Teresa, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here, and I honestly feel really honored because you've been, in a lot of ways, been a mentor for a lot of the things that I've learned. So thank you. Thank you for having me on.
That's awesome. Thanks so much. How did you get started in this game? First of all, people may not know you yet or have listened to your podcast yet.
Oh my goodness. I hated network marketing. I thought it was almost evil. It was seriously, I'd had experiences where people, trick you into coming to a meeting at their house when they say they're inviting you to dinner, whatever, that whole thing. And I couldn't stand it. So I was not interested at all. Yeah. Actually, my sister invited me to a class, and I love my sister. We're very close. So of course I knew I was going to go support her, but I told my husband, I said, look, would you please come with me? I have to go to this thing because I have to support her. And I went, and I was surprised by the product. And as you guys all know, network marketing companies have pretty amazing products often.
Amazing products, yeah.
I didn't know that at the time. And ours is a health product. And so my niece at the time was 2 years old. She started having some pretty serious neurological problems that were pretty scary. And someone told my sister, oh, you should try this product. And I thought, oh, brother, are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. And it actually was unbelievable, the support and what I saw. So I started researching, looking into it, ended up wanting the product, but not going to build the business. And then I started using the product, was helping people with the product, and started getting a little paycheck trying not to build. So I thought, okay, I thought, fine, I'll do this for 3 months. I am not talking to my friends, and I am not talking to my family.
Right.
I will go to expos. I will do. So in that, I think we're kindred spirits. I totally have heard so many of your trainings. And so that's how I got involved. Fell in love with it. And now love helping people, love network marketing.
When did it start becoming like a real thing for you? You're like, man, this is actually something that I want to go full time into and get 4.5 million people, when did that obviously it didn't happen all at once, but what did that look like?
And of course it doesn't happen by yourself. It really takes a lot of people working hard together, and I have a lot of amazing leaders on my team, as you can imagine. But for me, it was once I decided, okay, I'm going to do this for 3 months. I'm kind of a go-getter, and I always reach my goals. I may not my goals are always crazy high, where I constantly have naysayers telling me it can't be done. Right. And I just go ahead and do it anyway, but I don't always reach them as soon as I want. So once I kind of decided, okay, 3 months, we'll see. Then I went after it, and it was working, and it was unbelievable. And I quickly discovered that it really is about helping people. So whether you build offline, online, I built mine, all of that was built offline at first. Yeah. And it's been amazing. But I absolutely, with the whole You don't pressure people. It's not about hunting people down. We are not the hunter and they are the target.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What's funny is I think one of the biggest questions I get, and I'm sure you get it all the time, is like, well, how long have you been at it? And I feel like the thing that they're asking is it really worth it for me to go after that? And they're trying to find some logical reason to release themselves from like the pressure of moving forward. So with that backdrop, and everyone now knowing how I feel about that, how long have you been at
it? Yeah. So I've been doing this for 11 years.
Cool.
And at first I was doing it part-time because I was a stay-at-home mom. I'd never really been involved in business before. Of course I had skills and I had been to college, but I wanted to raise my own kids. So I did that. And this came about right as my kids were getting a little bit older. And so I would only do it part-time. I would only do it while they were at school, while they were at their sports practices and things like that. And so for the first several years, it was very part-time, but I'm an overachiever, which is fun for me. So I would get a lot done in the time that I had. But then when as it got to a point where I could spend more time on it and I was able to do it full time, I remember the day thinking, okay, now let's see what we can do. Because at that point, I think, I was a pretty high rank, I think third from the highest rank that you could achieve in the company.
Sure.
And so I'd achieved a lot. But now if I could really go, so then that was fun to be able to do that.
That's so awesome. Now you are, and just so everyone knows who's watching and listening to this now, Teresa is 100% the queen of offline building. I mean, you have this down to a science. You're so good at it. You're known for it. You have your own programs on that as well. I guess, did you learn those things? I'm sure some of it was discovered, though, along the way, like better tactics and methods on recruiting, or how did you start getting really good at that? Because most don't.
Well, I'll just tell you, first of all, you have to know I am extremely opinionated about how it should be done, because the way that people pressure and try to approach all their friends and all their family, I did not agree with that at all. We do have people make their lists, but the way the approach is absolutely about what they know that person actually needs. Yeah. Honestly, I think the thing I fell in love with when I found your online stuff was because we had been trying to figure out online for the last 4 years, and we had figured it out, but not to the extent that you had. And when I found your stuff, I freaked out because I was like, oh my goodness. We had figured it out, but those were the final, it was like the icing on the cake and all the pieces that we were still trying to put together. And so I'll just tell you, so we've geeked out over you, over ClickFunnels, all of that. And I'll just tell you, the way that you teach online, that's exactly how you should be doing it offline. All the things that you do, you attract the people who are interested. You don't go after the people who are not interested and try to get every single person on your team. If you're really worrying more about the other person more than you are about yourself, then what happens is you're meeting their needs. You're solving their problems. Yeah. And if you can solve their problem, then great, you continue that journey together. If you can't, then that's great. You can still be friends. You don't need to bring up that stuff all the time. And I think the best compliment I ever got was when a neighbor of mine came to me, needed something for a health situation. She didn't use our product, but she knew of our product. And she said she needed to find something for her daughter. And she asked if we had anything. And I told her yes. I was helping her. And she said, my husband, there are a lot of people in our neighborhood who do your business. And she said, my husband said, I don't want you talking to anyone else. I want you talking to Teresa because she won't hound us and she won't bug us.
Wow.
And that's probably the most powerful compliment, because that is exactly how you build offline.
That's
you do the same things that you do online. There are just some tricks to figuring out how to do it online. In the same way, there are some tricks to figuring out how to do it offline so that you're creating the same thing. It's faster online, as you know, which is so exciting as we've gotten into that.
So when, it's funny because the way I think about the internet, there are a few like very easy, I call them plays, like little football plays that I think about. Like, I'm going to run that play, I'm going to run that play. And I just know it just works because it adds value before you go follow up with this relationship, and ask them to actually join. What's like one of your favorite methods for offline growth?
For offline, we actually have some scripts that we give people that are for different types of situations, because so many people say too much or say it wrong. The nice thing about online is you write it in the funnel and then it's there and then you don't mess up. And so the hard part about offline is you kind of need to learn how to say things, but ultimately it really is about asking them questions, finding out what it is that they need. So just like, how in the online space, we're trying to touch those emotions that make them feel like we are talking to them. That's the exact same thing we're doing offline, where we're finding out what their needs are, and it's all about them. So that's one thing that we do. And I guess this is a second thing, but it's kind of part of the same thing. Anytime I meet someone, I am not trying to bring up my MLM. I am trying to get to know them. I'm making new friends. It's fun for me. I make new friends. I don't care if I'm on an airplane. I travel a lot internationally. I make new friends, and we're talking. And I'll just tell you two things that always come up: your business or what you do for work, and health. Those are always things that end up coming up. And so as you talk about them, it naturally goes. The way I try to do it is as if I saw a movie that I wanted to tell you about. I'm not going to make any money off that movie. But if it was so awesome, I'm going, Steve, oh my goodness, have you seen that movie? It is awesome. You have to go see that movie. So I would do it the same way, whether or not I'm going to make money off of that product. If it's really something that I feel that way about and that I could help people with, then that's how we approach it. That
makes total sense. And it's very natural with that approach. That's very cool. Do you, now one of the reasons why I started doing the MLM on the internet, network marketing on the internet and growing online, is because I was so afraid to talk face-to-face with people. And I know you must have, in that 4.5 million, someone who's fearful of talking face-to-face. And it's got to be a frequent conversation. So I was like, well, I'm kind of a nerd. I'll go create a system, but that's really nerdy, and most don't go do that, For all the people who are like, all right, Teresa, how do I go do it? I've got Steven's stuff, but I still want to talk face-to-face. What do you say to those people who are just super scared of talking face-to-face? How do you get over that fear?
First of all, I'll say, yes, there's at least one person in 4 million. Actually, probably almost every single one have so been there.
Yeah.
And even when I was super confident and had been presenting in front of, tens of thousands of people, and I present in front of small groups, I'm doing all kinds of things, I would still get in front of, someone who is on the airplane, and all of a sudden something would happen, and I would want to be careful not to make it awkward.
Yeah, just clam up, and
That's always a thing. And so what we do is we really, really teach people, and kind of, we do role play. And we really do. We literally have a script that is super simple and super not awkward, that anybody can use. You could totally use it for your company. And so what it does is it says how to offer the sample or whatever you're going to do, and it's so powerful. It works. Then our numbers increase significantly when we use this script. And then if they had a good experience or a bad experience, we have and it's short and simple. What you say to them if they had a bad experience, what you say to them if they had a good experience, and we know exactly how many. We have spent so many marketing dollars on figuring out how soon should you respond to someone. So, for example, with your email sequence, you know exactly what days you're sending those out.
Boom, boom, boom.
It's the exact same thing. You give them the sample, and 3 days is way too long. If you wait 3 days, it's too long. If you do it the next day, they feel like you're hounding them. They're like, why won't you leave me alone now? But 2 days is perfect. 2 days later, and you warn them ahead of time. So, for example, I always tell them you're going to contact them, tell them why, and tell them how. And that sounds like it can be so dramatic, but listen to this. It's super simple. So if I said, hey, Steve, so you've got this thing, Kate, try it like this, and I'll give you a call in a couple of days, see how it's going. I'll give you a call, couple of days, see how it's going.
So it's seated. It's not pressure. I don't feel pressure.
And now when I do call you, you're not going, why is she calling me again? You're going, she is taking such awesome care of me. I can't believe she's taking the time to do this with me. So just little things like that. In the same way, I've seen your trainings on the sales pages and the wording that you need to use. It's exactly the same thing. It really is.
That's so cool. Yeah. So many people have asked, how do I do it offline? It's the same. I'm not going to build a funnel. I'm just going to do it my way. And I was like, that is a funnel. It doesn't matter. Whether it's online or offline, doesn't matter. Funnels existed when the first caveman traded a rock for like a piece of, whatever.
Yes. And honestly, that's why I was so excited when I found your stuff, because you took the real way to do network marketing that is truly helpful, not pressure, and you put it online and you didn't change it and mess up the system. And so the beauty of online is you can do it faster and reach more people. And of course, if you can spend ad dollars, that's even better. Yeah. And so, so for me, what's really exciting and connecting with you and kind of getting to learn this stuff is to be able to go, dude, I know my piece because I have made more stupid mistakes than anybody. Network marketing, I am quite sure. So I know my stuff inside and out, and to I was learning the online stuff and now digging even deeper and going, oh, how fun to connect the two, how fun to put it together and go, wow, this is honestly moving into the 21st century.
Yeah, finally.
Yes!
Finally. It's taken forever. We got a lot of uplines that are afraid of it. When you first started building, and you started building offline, you started putting all your teams together, when did you start reaching out for assistance and help and growth? Like, were you consuming books and CDs and courses? And I mean, what kind of training did you consume at the beginning?
So when we first started, I'd never done this before. I didn't have any connections in the industry, and I had not had any success myself because I was brand new. So I went to the owners of our company, who are pretty renowned. They're amazing in the industry. But again, they're not the field. They're not used to doing what we do. They know their job, but they were extremely helpful. So I learned as much as I could. I basically went to them and said, okay, you tell me who's making the most in network marketing, and you tell me what they're doing. Yeah. And then I will try to mimic that. Yeah. And then started reading tons of business books, tons of network marketing books. And I will say that I can't even share my gratitude enough for the people who come before, who teach all of these. They've spent their lifetime learning all these things so that I can learn in a book what it took them years and years to learn. But I will say that there are some books out there there's always great information. But I'm pretty opinionated about that whole pushy network marketing attitude. Yeah. And there are some books out there that are very much that way. There are some that are partially that way, partially not. You will never hear me talking like that, advocating that. I absolutely don't think it's necessary. Well, obviously it's not. And I do believe that's one of the reasons our team is so massive, is because it doesn't feel that way. So I devoured books. I read like crazy. I remember I'm on Goodreads, and they had this reading challenge last year where they said, how many books do you want to read? We were living in China, and I thought, wow, this is a busy year. And so I probably better just say one book a month, even though I read more than I know I read a lot, but I don't know. We'll see. We were putting trainings together and all this stuff. So by the end of the year, there were 40 books. I was like, 40? I'd never really kept track like that. So this year, I was still a little chicken. This year I said, okay, this year we'll do 24. I'll do 24. Yeah. So I'm already almost at that. So
I'm sure.
I'll probably, now that I'm so competitive. Yeah. So now that I know I did 40, I probably this year need to do like 8,
Yeah, right. What happened to your team growth when you started consuming all that training?
Oh my goodness. What happens is your team grows exponentially, not just in relation to how much you're learning, because you know what it's like. The more you grow your business, the more you have to face things about yourself that you didn't necessarily want to face.
And it sucks.
Yes. Yeah. And it's weird. It's like you hit these lids that you don't realize you're hitting until you up-level your skill in that area. You become a better leader. You learn something more that allows you to lead better, grow bigger, and progress more. So absolutely.
I think of it like those rock tumblers that we used to have growing up. Did you ever have those? You put all those rocks in. It's just super loud, really annoying. That's the price you pay to actually have those. Then you pull it out, you're like, oh, that was awesome. And the nastier the rock, the more beautiful at the end,
Smooth and gorgeous and a color that you didn't even know.
That was in there, yeah. So you started building offline, obviously, and then when did you start taking that online to online growth?
when we got so smooth with it's never perfect, obviously
Sure.
you always have things to learn, but we knew how to do the offline building just no problem. In fact, I started probably 6 or 7 years ago, I started trying to do live seminars.
Cool.
Because I thought, we know how to do this. We are good at this. If we can get more people in the room, we go bigger, we can go faster. We already know what we're doing. But that didn't work very well. Well, it worked, and we were starting to figure it out. And I actually partnered with some people who had run massive events for people like Zig Ziglar and some of that kind of thing.
Wow.
But it takes a lot of capital, and you're flying whole teams out to the area. We were going to Colorado, and all of a sudden it hit me. I mean, hello, you'd think I'd have figured this out sooner. But I was like, duh, if we're going to do this, why do it live? Why not do it online? And that's when I started going, dude, we figured this out online. And then, of course, we can go do live events and people will come. But it has been so fun and so expensive until I found you guys. We had gotten the cost per acquisition down pretty low, lower than anyone I know aside from, the people that you train.
Yeah.
So we were pretty darn low. And then I found your stuff. And if you could say I screamed like a girl, absolutely. It was so exciting. So, and in fact, we brought a little gift for you.
Oh, yeah?
Can I share this little surprise?
Absolutely.
We made this for you.
Oh, yeah?
I just have to tell you that my office team, my employees have been really excited about this, and they've been sharing this all over the office over and over again. And so we have a segment. I won't share the whole thing here because it's too long, but it's 4 minutes, the one that we're going to give you. But this one I think is just 15 seconds. So I'm so excited. Okay, hold on just 1 second. I had it up and then of course it disappeared. Here we go. This one's 20 seconds, but you guys who love Steve Larson, it's worth it. You're going to absolutely love it. Let me make sure my school's up. Okay.
Bam! What's up? Oh my gosh, Steven! But I'm like, yeah, what's up? What's up? Wow, the funnel. Oh, take over the world. What's up? Bam, bam. Fake. Boom, what's up?
That is perfect. And gosh.
We seriously love, that's part of what draws people to you. It's what makes you a magnet. And so we have a 4-minute segment that is just super fun. And I'll just tell you, we didn't have time. We wanted to make a little cartoon character that was doing we didn't have time for that, but we're going to give you this and you can use it for however you see fit. It might just be fun to have as a sound on your phone. I think on my phone, I'm going to turn that into my ringtone for you.
Oh, sounds good. That sounds awesome. It's funny. I was speaking at this event once, and there was a Q&A section at the end, and this lady stood up, and she said, I know you're thinking about apps. Will you ever make an app for all the sound effects you make? And I was like, I think I'm flattered.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's so funny, because I never realized I was doing it.
It seriously is what makes it engaging because you're so fun. You're so you, and you just draw people in. So
that means a lot. I'm very excited about it.
It's really fun. So I hope you like it. I hope you take it as a compliment.
Oh, it's a huge compliment. Oh, totally. That was a long time ago, and I was learning to own it, and now I do it for a lot of fun now. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Exactly.
It'll be fun. I will take that and blast it everywhere. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, and thanks for walking through this. Could you just give one more piece of advice for somebody who is kind of just starting out and they're seeing this road and they're like, oh man, she's been doing this for 11 years. They're seeing this huge, long, maybe that's what they're focusing on, and they're not competitive like you and I. What would you tell that person?
Yeah, well, let me go off on a little bit different tangent to start off, just because I want to say this before we end. I'll just tell you, and it kind of answers this question a little bit. Yeah. I would absolutely look to the masters who know what they're doing and do what they do. But I have to say, and I know when I have you on my podcast, I'm going to go into this more. Cool. This is your podcast, but I'm going to hijack for just a second.
Deal.
And say, I'll just tell you, Steve's trainings are phenomenal. MLM hacks, oh my goodness. So the thing I love about your training is people can do this very low level. You don't have to be techie. You don't have to be a coder. You don't have to do that stuff. But as you want to get into it, the cool thing is you have trainings that allow you to go low level, but then you take people up the ladder to go into something that is bigger. The people who want to go deeper, like me, it allows us to geek out over that stuff, and you guide us through the process to make sure that we do it right. And what I love, just like what I do with my people, I've done this for 11 years. When I have people who want to be on my front line, I tell them, I say, I don't say it. I say it kind of nicely, but inside I'm being sassy. I say, okay, so if you're serious about this, I got to know that, and we kind of go through the requirements. And the requirements are basically, I don't say it quite this way, but I kind of do. Basically, you do it the way that I teach until you hit this rank, which is a pretty high rank. Once you're that rank, you do whatever you want. Because guess what? I've seen it. I've done it. I know what works. I know what doesn't. It's the same with you. I love the secret MLM hacks because, or what do you call it? It's the
secret MLM hacks. Yeah.
Yeah, secret MLM hacks, because you take people through the process without them having to go figure it all out for 10 years by themselves. Yeah. You've been doing this for a long time. You truly are the guru. And so I just feel like you deserve kudos for that, because you are helping people all across the industry. And I know that this is starting a wave that is changing the MLM industry. And so in answer to your question, I would say absolutely. If whichever way you want to build, great. If you only want to build online, build online. If you only want to build offline, build on offline.
Yeah.
If you want to do both, I would recommend that you build the way you want, but make sure you incorporate the best pieces of both of those sides so that you can reach anybody. You can reach anybody, because you're going to come across people. I'm sure you come across people in person, Steve, who say, I want to be on your team, right?
Yeah, a lot.
So really, you don't build offline because you build online, but you end up having to handle it offline. You're just good at it.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Yeah. I think making sure that this might sound weird, but one of my tricks is to belittle the goal. And it's so that it's not so massive in my mind that I'm like, there's no way I can go pull that off. I have to belittle it just a little bit. It's not that big of a deal. It's just an elephant. I got a fork. We're good to go. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
It's all good, And then if I try to consume and understand and plan for all of it at the same time, there's no way. And you get stressed out. Yeah. Thanks for saying that, though. I really appreciate that. It's cool. We're really trying to. I think it's changing the industry. When at the beginning, when I first started this, there were no podcasts. There was no one was talking about this angle of it, and it's cool to see how 180 degrees that is now. It's really fun.
Oh,
thank
totally.
you for that.
It's been a big part of that, and I have bought your packages. I know your stuff, and I'll just tell you, it changes the game. It really does.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Well, thanks for being on here. And where can more people find you besides MLM Game Changers? By the way, everyone go look at the podcast.
Okay, the podcast, MLM Game Changers. We also have TeresaHardingMasterclass.com.
Cool.
We have pre-registration there for a free masterclass that we do, teaching people how to combine the online with the offline. And I give shout outs to Steve all the time. There are certain people online that are the best of the best, and Steve is one of them, one of the few. And so we incorporate some of the things that he does. So that's really fun.
Thanks so much. It's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show. And everyone go check out and follow Teresa Harding. She's amazing. She's a beast. She's the one that she's the queen of the offline build. Oh, thanks so much.
One of these days I'll get good enough that I deserve the right to wear that shirt.
This shirt?
Fabulous pig. Oh, yeah.
I will send it to you. To recruit online or to recruit offline? That is the question. Okay, by now, if you listen to the show at all, you know I focus heavily on methods to recruit online in largely automated ways. But what if you don't know what to do when speaking to somebody face-to-face who's actually interested? What do you do? What do you say? How do you keep the conversation moving? When should you follow up and how often? Who should you pursue and who should you move on from? Frankly, and totally honest, I'm good at all that online stuff. But if you're like me, you might be a little bit of an introvert in the real world. While sales and marketing online is still sales and marketing offline, the mechanics are a little bit different. Now, I'll be an expert in what I am loudly, but I can't pretend to know all of these offline methods because, well, I don't. Who better to introduce you to than the queen of offline recruiting herself, Teresa Harding. Teresa literally has millions of people in her downline as you listen to this. She's an offline recruiting expert. However, several months ago, she ran into my programs online and said exactly what you heard in my interview with her. Steve, you did what we've been trying to do for 10 years. If you want to check out the same programs Teresa Harding has, go to listentoteresa.com and watch the free web class now. Kind of like salt and pepper, Teresa and I are excited to finally collaborate a little to show you our individual strengths. She'll teach you offline recruiting, I'll teach you online recruiting. If you're ready to learn more of what Teresa did from my programs, just type in listentoteresa.com.